Namaskar, hello and welcome to this healing hour. And today happens to be the World Menopause Day. It is commemorated every year on 18th of October. And uh, सृष्टि के उपक्रम में फेमिनिन हेल्थ की अगर हम त्रयी की बात करें तो menstrual stage, maternity stage, and the menopausal stage. These are the three stages which are largely considered as the prasthanatrayi of स्त्री आरोग्यता. और आज हमारे साथ हैं डॉक्टर सुरभि वैश्य मित्तल, द फाउंडर ऑफ आरोग्यम इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ इंटीग्रेटेड मेडिकल साइंसेज. और उनका हम आज मार्गदर्शन लेने का प्रयास करेंगे कि ये जो स्त्री शरीर है, जो कि प्रजनन का, जनन का और समूचे क्रिएशन का आधार है. द ह्यूमन क्रिएशन इज ऑल वेस्टेड इन मातृशक्ति फॉर दैट मैटर. एंड जस्ट वेरी रिसेंटली वी ऑल कमेमोरेटेड द 9 पावरफुल nights, the Navaratri, the celebration of the cosmic feminine power. So, Dr. Surbhi, we would really like to have your opening remarks on, first and foremost, before taking up the menopausal stage in particular, these three very prominent phases or chunks of feminine health per se. So it will set the context for a larger discourse on the menopausal health, and then perhaps on another healing hour we might be taking up the various issues regarding menstrual health and maternity health and so forth. So, Dr. Subhi.
So, namaskar and many greetings and good wishes on the World Menopause Day today, 18th of October. Woman is the center of creation, you know. Woman is the power who gives birth, who gives the new life. And she goes through various stages of her, reproductive life cycle. It's a miracle indeed on this earth that how a new life is born. So I would just start this by saying that the Navdurgas you referred to, the Navdurgas, the nine forms of the goddess, can be related to the women's life very beautifully. You know, we talk of Shailaputri, we talk of Brahmacharini. That's when the girl is born, the child is born. Shailaputri, Brahmacharini when she starts her education, you know, and formative years. Then Chandraghanta, the goddess Parvati, when she is married, the married woman is the Chandraghanta, you know, full of radiance with a smile and a Chandra on her head, you know, Chandraghanta. Then Kushmanda. Kushmanda is the mother, the womb, you know, she when she becomes the married woman becomes the mother. She is the Kushmanda with a pot of honey and lotus in her hand. She is the womb of the universe. Then we have Skandamata, or the nurturing mother, who is, who is concerned for every element of her child. The Kartikeya's mother, you know, Skandamata, nurturing mother. And then we have, these are the three stages of the married woman where she is entering into the maternity, you know. So menstrual cycle, maternal cycle. Then we come to the Katyayani, Kalaratri, Mahagauri, and Siddhidatri. So these are the four stages of the mature woman. When we say she's the Katyayani, she's the slayer of the Mahishasura. So this is the, you can say, the onset of the perimenopausal age, when she's, you know, getting into the maturity, you know, the mother is now in a Katyayani avatar. And she is standing for justice, for goodness in society. Then we have the Kalaratri, the Saptamam Kalaratri, where she is removing fear. She is removing fear by her fiercest power in action. And Mahagauri, purity and wisdom, you know, the embodiment of knowledge, bliss, and purity and wisdom. And Siddhidatri, the achiever. So this is the, you know, entire continuum. And so menopause is one of these stages of this continuum. And though
It's
many
what you intend to say, Dr. Surbhi, is that there is nothing to be dejected about it. Menopause is perhaps the advent of the stage of maturity when the women is taking on the real power. The Ahilya Bai Holkers, they are the real matriarchs who are emerging in the society and taking on the societal roles per
Absolutely,
se.
absolutely.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so when we talk of,
Somewhere or the other, there is a in civilizations across the menstrual stage is celebrated. Oh, the girl child has now become ripe enough now to advance from the kanya to the adolescent stage. Ki menstrual is a celebration. Then maternity, undoubtedly, that's where the joy and love comes into play. Women becomes a mother. The society starts revolving around her. But then menopause, somewhere or the other, you have really transformed, transcended the entire negative connotations around menopause as if it's a stage of some wanting or something. It's the stage of maturity. It is the full blossoming of motherhood, femininehood. एंड इन द भारतीय परंपरा स्त्री और पुरुष का जो समुच्चय है it's an integral compact. Men and women are have not been considered individually per se. There is an intertwined relationship all through, and society blossoms and blooms because of that. But since it's a healing hour, a lot of medical questions people have in their mindsets. And as we can see on our backdrops, that the stage of menopause, though it's a stage of maturity, you really become a very dominant women. You said that out of the 9 Navaratris, four are dedicated to the menstrual and the maternal mother. But then the mothers you scare off, who really you respect towards ki bhai, the maturity part of it, they are five. So that is a considerable amount of time, and that's where women are taking up the dominant leadership across families, across communities, across institutions which they are leading. But then a lot of uh, physical and psychological transformations do happen at the onset of menopause. So would you now like to explain us more in medical terms as to what really happens, and then physically and psychically, and how to cope up with them? So maybe that's an elaborate subject matter for today's healing hour. Yeah.
yeah. So menopause comes from the word pausis in Greek, meaning to stop or to pause, to pause, and men meaning month. So when the monthly cycle is pausing, is coming to a halt, that is menopause. So technically, yes, this is the stoppage of the periods or the menstrual cycles in women, and when it stops naturally, and this when this happens continuously for 12 months in a row, we technically define it as menopause. And in this period, of course, at the onset of menopause, when complete menopause has occurred, the ovaries also stop producing eggs, and of course that estrogen and progesterone hormones, which are produced, the women reproductive hormones, that production also stops. So because of this, there are a variety of symptomatology in the body, changes in the body which the woman experiences, both psychosomatic, physical, clinical, and they have manifestations. So I would first start by saying that the age of menopause is important to know for for everyone. That the perimenopausal is when the starting of menopause is just about to happen. So in the mean age of perimenopause in our Indian women has been said to be around 44, between 44 to 45 years. And this would start by either irregular menses, wherein either they'll be having too frequently, or they'll be happening, once in 2 3 months. Gradually, this irregularity will then come to a stop, when the menopause occurs. This menopause is usually the average mean age of in Indian women has been said to be around 47 years. But then it can be plus minus 2 years, 50, under 50, usually it happens in India. There is a host of factors which determine that, how this age of menopause is decided. But then, yes, this is in Indian women, this is the mean age. Now, what happens in menopause? The most important clinical point of focus is the bone deficiency, which we say is osteoporosis. A host of symptoms were also listed in this diagram right behind in the backdrop. These are, of course, very important, but the something which is of really implication is the osteoporosis aspect. And in menopause, the bones become weak, you know. So that is a point when we say we should take a lot of calcium, we should drink a lot of milk. So I'll start with that osteoporosis, then the mental aspects, you know. Menopause is often taken to be a phase in a woman's life when the feelings of loss of confidence, feeling low, feeling low moods, irritability, insomnia, and generally, irritability, hot flushes. And the women also feels, because you see, try to understand from that woman's point of view also, that she's the center of creation. She's the person who is anchoring, the family in terms of all the emotions, and she's holding the baby in her the child in her womb for 9 months. So when this ye shakti unse le li jati hai, when this power goes away from her, she feels, how am I a woman, how am I a feminine force in society, in the world? So, but then this is something which is, a blessing in disguise in a way also, because that is what every phase of life is important. And that's what the healing hour at we wish to re-emphasize and reiterate here, that the maturity onset, the wisdom, the purity and wisdom aspect, which the woman is all empowered. And if you see, when we talk of career women, in the global workforce, one in every five women in the global workforce are menopausal. And whether the men like it or not, women are a majority of the workforce, in India and the world, So, and often at this menopausal age, the women are mature, they have completed their education, their family responsibilities, their children are grown up, I mean, teens or even older, depending upon the age of marriages. So they're at the right stage to take leaps, and embark on their career journeys. So it's important for women to also know that this phase is very important for them, in terms of their maturity, their effulgence, and how a woman handles her menopause is also very crucial, because she's the guiding force for the children, for the family. और कहते हैं नारी ही नर को नारायण बनाती है. So this is a very food for thought. And the clinical symptoms, of course, we have medical treatments available for that. Say, for example, we have hormone replacement therapy. Now HRT or hormone replacement therapy is something which is very people know about it. Common population knows about it, that for various symptoms of menopause, like, say, for example, hot flashes, there's loss of libido, which we say the sexual drive in women, and there's some dryness in the vagina, there is skin problems, skin becomes either oily or dry, adult acne onset is there. So brain fog in terms of memory concentration problems, and fatigue, tiredness in the day because not able to sleep in the night due to insomnia, joint pain due to osteoporosis. So all these problems can be handled by HRT. But then, there is a word of caution here. Not every woman needs HRT. Not every woman needs HRT. HRT has its hormone replacement therapy, has its risks and side effects as well. So this is a point of word of caution, that I mean, the body is designed to have its own feedback mechanism. So, आहार, विहार, विचार और फिर औषधि. औषधि तभी देनी है जब उसकी जरूरत हो. So as again, I will say, bring in the triad of accurate diagnosis, optimal investigation, and judicious medication here. So the symptoms can be handled, by various ways and means, both lifestyle changes and a little bit of medication here and there, which can symptomatically address the problems.
So I think first and the foremost, what Dr. Surbhi, you have really presented fantastically in an integrated fashion, that acceptance of this stage and somewhere or the other celebration of this stage, that this is the next phase of life where because obviously the menstrual cycle, the reproductive part of the women remains a kind of a challenge all through, and the leaps which women have to take in their professional journeys and pursuing the larger responsibilities out there. So this gives them a kind of a phase of life where they can really leap forward. So that is something very, very important. Secondly, what you said is accepting that these symptoms are a part of the organic life cycle, like 40, like it has been around 30, 35 years. I think that's an average time frame where the feminine body has to undergo the menstrual cycles. And perhaps this is now a stage of deliverance for that matter. So a lot of relief can come through. And as you rightly said, that the family would have got amply stabilized. So physically, the relief comes, and psychically, obviously, you are seeing a matured family all around it. So it's time to bang on. It's time to take leaps forward. And the medical symptoms, the physical symptoms you have also narrated, they are marginal in nature, which have to be coped for. Acceptance, I think, is the first step for an arogyata. So let's take ki what kind of food, what kind of lifestyle, and then what kind of mental आहार विहार और विचार की जो त्रयी है. आपने एचआरटी की बात तो कर दी, औषधि, बिकॉज इट्स एज ऑफ एफएमसीजी, quick quick popping
Relief.
pills and all kind of things. That's part of things, but then the foundational aspects of it, that how on the onset of menopause, how the ahar, vihar, and vichar, and then vihar also has a lot of, I think, understanding regarding with your partner, because as you said that women are now coming to that vanaprasthavastha a bit early, somewhere where the sexual drive is decreasing, and maybe the other partner, the male menopause, will just touch upon it a bit in the different segment. But ahar and vichar, let's focus on that first, and the vihar part of it, so that our audience can be further groomed. Because how much popping pills we can pop, how much HRTs can be actually done. It has been a tough life all through, from pregnancies, from all through. Women perhaps consume more drugs, more medicine than the male body. They're already under so much of stress for that matter. Dr. Surbi.
Yeah, so besides, I would also like to add in that HRT has risks also. Overdosage of HRT can lead to uterine, breast, and ovarian cancer. So these are, as you know, that drugs, often taken, like the frequent eye pills and contraceptive pills also. They have to be taken in moderation, I mean, something and nothing should be taken when it is not required. That is the general adage. And now, when we come to say that, that how the ahar, vihar, and vichar can be, can be ordained or what it should be. So ahar, of course, that your doctor or gynecologist would also recommend the moment you reach the perimenopausal or menopausal time. There is a tablet called as Menopause, which is prescribed, which is a bulk of vitamins, supplements, minerals. So that is what, if you supplement in the diet, you might not even need that. So that is a supplement, of course, it just to top it up. But what should be in the ahar is plenty of milk, plenty of fruits and vegetables. Calcium has to be in adequate amounts. 1 glass of milk is minimum. If it can be 2 glasses, that's good enough. So, and then a lot of protein, and vegetables, green vegetables, a lot of water, a lot of hydration, because, generally this is a phase when water helps to induce good sleep, even. And then again, you have to see that insomnia has to be addressed. So, your
So isn't this food
lifestyle.
almost the same what even the maternal, when the women are at the maternal stage, is it
Uh,
the same food you are prescribing, or
well,
there is something different?
the maternal is full dosage. It is the highest
Okay.
power when the uterus has even a fetus. So of course you are feeding for two lives. This
Mhm.
is certainly, it's a nutritional phase, but then the maternal is the highest. So this, you may
Okay.
say, This is a normal plus, and maternal would be normal plus plus. So you need to step it up, pep up with more milk, more fluids, more vegetables, green vegetables, vitamin D, vitamin B12, D3, plenty of sunlight, for the bone health, and
Hmm.
like that. And of course, food items which are rich in the proteins per se, because generally the body is going towards the aging side. So you don't need to be deficient on nutrients, on proteins especially. And carbohydrates and fats, of course, need to be in normalistic range, not too much, because this is where it differs from the maternity. Because in maternity you would take, I mean, if you are normal weight, you would take a lot of ghee, and for the and good nutritious aspects. Now in this menopausal age, you might be having high cholesterol, so you have to check on that. You may be taking low fat milk or toned milk. So fat and carbohydrates, breads, pastries, and all this junk food, of
So
course, you would say.
age-wise, it's a stage between the prime of youth and the geriatric stage.
Yes,
So
because
somewhere
this
in
is of
between, this balancing has to be made. Yeah.
balancing has to be done, because it has to be according to the age also. So
Mm.
nowhere we are implying that you should eat excess or anything in more, but then it should be nutritious in terms of the quality. What you eat is important. And so you have to avoid the cardiac problems. So for that you might be checking on your BP, your cholesterol. So diet has to be according to that. And usually by this age people are diabetic, people are having all these
Mhm.
morbidities, also lifestyle problems. So diet has to be moderated. But then
Got
milk and calcium supplements, this needs to be stepped up. That's
So
about the
what
ahar.
you're perhaps prescribing that post the maternal stage, this menopausal stage, it also calls for a visit to your dietitian, visit to your doctor, so that it
Def-
can be well adjusted and manicured for this
Yes,
stage. Yeah.
definitely. Because what does why to take supplements unnecessarily? When you
Mhm.
can, आहार ही औषधि है, आहार में वो शक्तियां हैं, वो सब तत्व हैं, पदार्थ हैं. तो why not step it up with your ahar? And then we come to the vichar part of it. Vichar, of course, this is going to be very, very, I should say, transitional stage in your life. And this is how the woman looks at it. It's important for the woman to recognize that yes, there is a transitional phase. Yes, you would have low feelings. Yes, you would be feeling mood swings. You will be getting irritability. You might feel a sense of lack of purpose. You might feel a sense of lack of feminineness in you. But then you have to tell yourself that you are the Mahagauri, you are the Siddhidatri now. You have to guide the society. And often at this age, 50, 55, by the phase in which you are entering, when you are 47 to 57, 57 to 67, and this is the age, if we say Jiva Shatadikam Shatam, if you have a live a life of 100 years, if not at least 70 to 80 years, and this is the phase which is the foundation of your becoming a grandparent or grandmom, nani dadi jise kehte hain. So then you are the wisdom. You are guiding the bahu who's entering your family, the daughter-in-law. So you have to assume that power, that wisdom, that responsibility. So with this knowledge, this realization in the woman will help her to climb those rungs of the
And
ladder.
perhaps if we see the kind of cycle in Mother Nature, when a woman is entering the menopausal stage, perhaps their very daughters are perhaps on the brink of menstrual stage, at least, despite the,
True.
I would say, delay in marriages and progeny. I think so. They see the menstrual cycles happening with their close to that, with their daughters, for that matter. So the cycle of menopause and menstrual, it's quite intertwined for that matter. Lovely, lovely. Mm.
In fact, this is the time when you can, see that what you have lived, there's so much more to guide the younger generation on. That what, your experience comes, that is when you
Mm.
say the experienced mother, you know.
Mm.
So you're the experienced woman. You can guide the girls, more on how to further augment this beautiful phase of life. Every phase of life has its importance and benefits and beauty. So we have to understand and respect and value that.
तो किसी भी प्रकार की हताशा, निराशा, डिजेक्शन, रिजेक्शन should not be seen out here. And perhaps what you are saying is re-strengthening the mental libido is perhaps it's the stage for it where from vulnerability to becoming a victor to fulfill the entire compact out there. Dr. Subi, at this very stage, I would like to, and like we have a lot of counseling programs at the menstrual stage for that matter. The girl child, sensitizing the male siblings or the fathers or the others in the family at the onset of menstrual. At the maternity stage, it happens automatically, it's a different communion stage. But do we have the provision of counseling with the family members when it comes to the menopausal stage? Ki the mother who had been so jolly, lovely, taking care of us like 24 cross 7 almost, and if she is becoming a bit irritant, so uh, is there a need of an institution whereby this counseling in a larger social context so that the male members they can become empathetic more because the women is really witnessing this withdrawal and how they can pep up the lives of their beloved mothers in that the wives for that matter in that stage. Please guide us on that.
So, well, I would say yes, that there is a need to sensitize and orient the menfolk or the all the family members on this aspect. And somehow in our families, in our society, this is not that much there. Not much emphasis is there on the menopausal age. There's a lot of emphasis on the maternity, on the menstrual when menarche, when the menstrual cycle set in. But menopause is often neglected and ignored. That's a fact. And whereas if this phase is also empowered, equally, if not, I mean, if not more or less, if it's empowered equally, women can be a very dominant force in the society, in the family, in the country, everywhere, because what it means is, say for example, it's your mother's birthday. If you are a son, just give her a bunch of flowers, just give her a hug, and just tell her that, mom, you mean so much to us. That would just bring her the smile on her face, that she's wanted, she's cared, she's cared for and needed in the family. And similarly, the father, of the daughter, and the husband, or you know the male elder member of the family, the husband can tell the wife, and both as a couple can embark on this journey of jnana. This is the point when the woman जो कहते हैं कि नारी ही नर को नारायण बनाती है. The God has designed this part of the life in such a fashion the
Mhm.
woman becomes the centroid or the catalyst for this embarking on this journey, जिसे कहते हैं चौथापन of life. So she becomes the reason, and she triggers this transformation in the family. Because you see, when you become parents, parenting is a spiritual transformation. It's an organic process of growth of the parent itself, himself or herself. You learn so much from parenting. And this is the phase when you are becoming a mature parent further,
Mhm.
and you're moving towards grandparenting. You're moving that step. You're riding the first steps towards your daughter, maybe of marriageable age. Your son might be going to higher education, preparing them for marriage. So a lot of wisdom is coming in this phase. So the woman, because of the lack of sex drive, she is, motivated. She is, naturally, she is designed in such a fashion that she moves the family towards jnana, towards wisdom, towards vairagya. And that is where the onset of maturity or power comes. Knowledge is power.
Mhm.
So this is a very minute facet, a fine facet, which I think, and
One curiosity, logical curiosity, which comes, Dr. Surbi, because this is a stage when marriage also blossoms to the highest order with a full-blown family out there. And as you have mentioned, that this is a stage where the drive, as you mentioned yourself, for physical intercourse goes down for natural reasons, for that matter. So, does the male menopause also starts around the same time? How is this conjunction? How is this stage balanced out? Please guide us on that because women is the recipient of all the love and affection, but then a lot of mental stress she might be getting is because of the asymmetry in the menopausal stages with her partner, with her husband for that matter. So please guide us on that. Yeah.
So you see, the male hormone testosterone. This is, when puberty sets in at 15, 16, 15 to 16 years of age in the males, you know. So it peaks around 30 years, 30 to 35 years. And there is nothing called as male menopause, Males are fertile all their life. And
Okay.
menopause doesn't happen in males. Yes, but the sperm quality will go down as aging sets in. And now, as far as the male and the female conjugal, that relationship goes, this is where it has to come to a convergence. Has to come to a convergence. The libido in the males would not come down that much. Due to aging, whatever little bit it would be, it would be a bit, but males usually retain their drive for sexual activities,
So
even
does this asymmetry, this biological asymmetry, somewhere becomes a cause of feminine stress, the mental stress within the feminine? Uh,
definitely it becomes. And that is one major reason why the woman feels spurned. She
hmm.
feels spurned. She feels ostracized. These are the words, She feels as if she's no good, you know because this is a very finer aspect, because in relationships, very often we find that mental tuning and emotional tuning there's a lot of food for thought for this, so this aspect, because of not being it's a cause of stress, yes, for
So,
the
so,
woman.
so this inevitably means that the males have to be counseled more at this menopausal stage. So, how do you suggest a kind of a coping mechanism? You were mentioning some strands of it a bit earlier, but then how in the fast-paced life of
Yes,
today, when both are working couples and both are going to the zenith of their career at the power structure, at the influence level, so with the reducing of the feminine urge and also the inkling for it all, and the males still remaining virile and demanding for it all. So how this balance can be created? What are some of the medical and other mechanisms which can be adopted at a couple level?
So one is that, of course, I would start by saying that the mental tuning has to be really bolstered and augmented. I really read a very nice anecdote in somewhere that Kamala Harris, she and her family, they cook together. So, her husband joins her in the kitchen, and so
Okay.
such activities where the husband and the wife are together there are so many ways in which you can converge, So when that mental tuning happens, when the men join in the kitchen, when the men take part of the cleaning or the fathering the children or teaching the children or doing some book reading together with the husband and wife, these kind of activities create an environment of a lot of warmth in the family, in the conjugal relationship as well. So first is the mental tuning, and that needs to be bolstered really and augmented at this level, that helps a lot. And then
Mhm.
secondly is, of course, that the woman also, you see, the relationship at the physical level would not end completely. That
Mhm.
is, you have to accept that in modern paced life. So the woman also has to, it is a point of stress for her because she doesn't have the desire. But then midway, somewhere the males also have to, control and, regulate their drives, and a women also has to help them to bring to that level, and then that's where spirituality comes into play. That's where that plays a role. That's where the deeper knowledge, wisdom, self-realization, you come from the modern terminologies, wherein you reach the highest peaks of your careers, your children are doing well, and then that's where you find other sources of satisfaction in your life, where I'm talking for the modern terminologies. This is what the life has been, like. So,
So
so
somewhere or the other, you are suggesting that the civilizational ideal of continence in Grahastha, it can
yes.
be reignited out there. Like you mentioned about Brahmacharya, in the Indian parlance, Brahmacharya ashram is at the stage, premarital stage, where continence is naturally practiced. So menopause is perhaps the stage where we embark upon all over again into that lovely, into those ideals and ideas of brahmacharya.
Golden
And
opportunity.
Mhm.
Golden opportunity. It's a harbinger of vanaprastha and sannyas, in the life of both the man and the woman.
Lovely, lovely. Moving forward, Dr. Surbi, we also witness like this October month is also the breast cancer awareness month, and cervix cancer, feminine shape also is replete with these extraneous kind of disease burden, we can say so. So somewhere or the other, if the right care is taken, how can these I would say these extreme medical cases, can they be prevented in the first place? Uh,
So this is the stage and age when we have to go for regular monitoring,
Mhm.
and it is recommended that a pap smear, of course, for cervical cancer in this age group of 40 plus, at least 45 plus, we should start doing, every once in every 3 years, and these are the guidelines, but then. Yes, if you have symptoms, warning signs like abnormal vaginal bleeding or bleeding during intercourse, pain during intercourse or something like that, any symptoms of abnormal weight loss, or some kind of a nodule or a growth in the breast, or this kind of symptomatology, you need to watch out for and reach your doctor, gynecologist or doctor immediately. So mammograms we do, regularly, and self breast examination is very important for women to understand and appreciate, especially after the age of 40-45, because you see, breast cancer has been found to occur quite in this age group as well, menopausal age. And it has been noted that women who are doing regular self breast examination, this is best done while you are bathing, or while you are dressing up, because that helps to diagnose early, and cancer is curable if detected early. So definitely an awareness regarding all these aspects needs to be there in huge amounts, because these days, India has become the cancer capital also, the way breast cancer and cervical cancer is surging, and so we need to be really alert and vigilant for that.
Mm. So,
Somewhere,
so yeah, yeah,
yeah,
please.
somewhere, of course, we also see that late age of marriages and not breastfeeding the children has some corollary, or some role to play in breast cancer, indirect
But
causative.
anyways, that's a subject matter for a different conversation. But when you have achieved, when you arrived at this point, what you have prescribed is a continuous monitoring and awareness.
True.
You are now at that stage of life where the possibility of these extreme incidences is high. So it's better to be vigilant, better to be careful. And I think you have given the preventive aspect of it all to fill up the emotions further, and to take care of you, kind of visits to the doctor or pre-screenings. As you said, that cancer is curable if detected early. And then perhaps in one of the cancer healing hours, we will be talking more about the kind of anti-cancerous diets and the Jivan Charya, as we all call about it. Medical science is highly developed for that matter, but then even the most modern medicos say that if you can prevent by a healthy lifestyle, why to come on the surgical table in the first place for that matter? So I think this has been a lovely session for that matter, replete with the psychosomatic and the physical aspects of it all. And इसीलिए भारत में जो कहा गया कि भाई पूरकता की बात है, स्त्री का जीवन पुरुष पर आधारित है, पुरुष का जीवन स्त्री के अराउंड केंद्रित है, एंड लॉट ऑफ menopausal health as we are seeing. The young girls, yes, there is a natural protection in the society for that matter till they get married. the menstrual stage of it all, that has got a different challenge. But married women achieving the stage 45, 47 years, and then one of the core things that satisfying their partner physically, that's one of the core issues which aggravates their stress factors. I think that's where a kind of samvad, ishtagoshti, the mutual conversations is perhaps required, and withdrawing from indulgence for that matter, as we say in our Bharatiya Sanskriti, ki life is in four stages: the brahmacharya, grahast, vanaprastha, and sannyas. So perhaps this is an early onset of the vanaprastha avastha. Ki, oh, we have lived our grahastha so very beautifully. We have done our duties towards the pitris. We have fulfilled our pitri reign. We have produced the progeny for future. We have nurtured them. We have given them sanskaras for meeting out the challenges of their life, and then in turn carry on the cycle of life for that matter. And now it is a time to withdraw, take the more larger responsibilities, advocate, like as Dr. Surbi said, becoming Mahagauri, becoming Kalaratri, and eventually Siddhidatri. So that connotation is so very jubilant, and all these cultural traditions are so very intertwined सहज में हमारी परंपरा में. I think Dr. Surbi, it has been phenomenal learning from you from all medicinal and I would say even the mystical parampara, I would say of ours, and the wisdom is all out there. We are not claiming it. You just have to go back a bit, balance out the modern thought process of externality with a bit of internal thought processes, that traditions and kind of designs which have been developed over eons, over ages, despite the advancements in medical sciences, because that is only therapeutic in nature. Once you have arrived at a certain stage, what best the modern medical sciences can do, they can they can do surgeries, they can resect things, but we can prevent a lot much. One last question, that when the in the menopausal stage, why it happens on the bones? What is the actual physiology which happens? Why it weakens the bones? Because the fluid excretion is stopping. So the natural thing is you are not losing anything. So how this osteoporosis, what you have mentioned about, uh, in a couple of days we have the word osteoporosis day. Also, we will be having a session on that as well. So just technically, why it happens, especially the bones.
So, the ovaries are producing estrogen and progesterone. These are the female hormones. And when
Okay.
menopause happens, estrogen production is stopped. Estrogen is responsible for the bone health, and it helps in deposition of calcium in the bones and making the bones stronger. So when the estrogen production is stopped, the bones become weaker, and that is what we say osteoporosis, starts, onset is beginning.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Saab. Human body is undoubtedly a mystery in itself, and that's why we need qualified and anchored physicians like you to guide the larger community. And as Dr. Survi practices the preventive, protocolized, and integrative medicine. Thank you so much, Dr. Survi, for being with us on this healing hour. We will be back again with yet another thematic to help take on our individual arogyata and the aspiration of Jivem Shraddha Shatam. It should remain so very vital, so very strong, because as the motto of your alma mater says, Sharir Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. It's because with the human body, all dharmas can be accomplished.